So the Rams have been very active lately in bringing in a bunch of new different players, and some of them happen to be former Rams who are coming back to the team. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the players that they brought in and what their role could be for the Rams. So the players that we have recently signed is Malcolm Brown, Kendall Blanton, and Tay McKinley. Now if you came into this video just wanting to hear about one specific player, no worries, here are the timestamps for each player that I talk about. Okay, so let's talk about Malcolm Brown here first and what this means for the Rams and why they brought him in. Now if you guys have been Rams fans for a while, you should know who he is. He played with us from 2015 to 2020 and then ended up leaving for the Dolphins, had an opportunity with the Saints. Nothing really ended up turning out for him, so now he's back with the Rams on their practice squad. I believe this is a good move for Malcolm Brown and for the Rams, not only because he's familiar with a lot of the coaching staff and some of the players on this team, so he already has kind of like a baseline understanding of what Sean McVay likes and the way his offenses work, but I believe he's a good insurance running back for the Rams if any injuries do transpire to Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, or Jake Funk, you know. So that's the universal understanding by Rams fans, is that this guy's going to be a backup just in case any injuries end up happening. I mean, he is on the practice squad for a reason, but personally for me, we may see him a little bit more than we think, especially because he's a guy who, if you're on the 1 yard line, you're on the 2 yard line just wanting to punch it in with that running game. We haven't seen the Rams do that very effectively lately, especially since Todd Gurley left, and Malcolm Brown is one of those guys. He's going to put his head down, he's going to power through, and he's going to get you that touchdowns. That's a very underrated element that I think a lot of people are just overlooking. Maybe we could use him for that if he's activated on game day. I like this signing a lot. I'm glad Malcolm Brown is back. Big fan of him. He's just going to put his head down and work and do everything he can to help the team. Alright, the next player that the Rams ended up bringing back is Kendall Blanton, and we are very familiar with him. He made a big impact in that playoff run for the Los Angeles Rams and into that Super Bowl. A lot of Rams fans were disappointed when he left to the Commanders. Commanders didn't end up keeping him. He ended up on the Chiefs practice squad. Chiefs ended up stealing Benton Whitley from us, and we ended up stealing Kendall Blanton from them. So I'm very fond of this move, honestly. He's very familiar with this offense. I mean, he was just here in the postseason with us. He was here throughout mini camp, OTAs, and all of that period. And I think he's a very solid contributor for this team who knows the offense and who can make a good impact for the Rams. We know Bryson Hopkins was suspended for 3 games, unfortunately, which is, I think, a big reason why the Rams ended up bringing him back. I think that we're not even going to notice Bryson Hopkins is gone just because of what a solid type of player Kendall Blanton is and what he can do filling in for him. All right, now let's talk about Tay McKinley, a guy who I'm really excited to see on the Rams to see what he can do. Tay McKinley is a former first-round pick for the Atlanta Falcons, and he's never really lived up to the expectations that were set for him, especially being drafted in that first round. He's hopped around teams from the Atlanta Falcons, obviously, who drafted him, to the Cleveland Browns last year, and then he ended up on the Tennessee Titans practice squad, which is how we brought him in. Personally, I'm really excited to see what he's going to be able to do with this Rams team, with the opportunities that he will be given. I think he's going to capitalize off of. This reminds me a lot of Leonard Floyd and Dante Fowler when we brought them in. These are guys who were not living up to the expectations, who, voila, you put them with Aaron Donald and they end up doing really good. We saw Dante Fowler get paid really well by the Atlanta Falcons after he balled out with us for a couple seasons. Now we see Leonard Floyd coming in from Chicago. He wasn't living up to his first round expectations. You play along Aaron Donald and then you get paid. You get to put up great production because of the opportunities that Aaron Donald gives you. So I'm very excited to see what Tay McKinley can do. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him in this rotation with Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, Daniel Hardy. How is he going to fit in there is going to be the question, but I believe that he could actually be a very underrated player who could put up some great production similar to what Leonard Floyd does. You guys know how I do things here. I don't want to be the one doing all the talking. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below with these additions of Malcolm Brown, Kendall Blanton, and Tay McKinley. I appreciate all of you for watching this video. If you could drop a like, I'd really appreciate it. But other than that, it's been me, Rams House. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Horns up and God bless.